Hey everybody, Flight Sim Guy here. Today I'm going to be doing a quick video on the ins and outs of programming the flight management computer. In this case it's for the Embraer 195. Flight management computers are a dime a dozen. For the most part, the process for programming these things is more or less the same. However, the details of each individual type of flight management computer varies from plane to plane, but for the most part the process is all the same. Now, I chose this aircraft because number one, I know how to do it, and number two, it's midway between a simple plane or a simple FMS such as that of the Cessna Citation X and something more complex such as the FMS or the flight management computers for the Airbus or the Boeing, 737, 747, 777, whatever. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and program this plane for a flight. I'm not sure where the devil I am. I think I'm at Columbus, and the flight plan I have does not support that. Alright, hang on a second. Alright, let's see what we got here. Yeah, here's one. From Columbus to Atlanta. Alright, we'll use this one. That paper rustling that you've heard, I already have a flight plan that's been generated from the website simbrief.com. It is 6 pages, and it has everything that I need to know to program and get this plane set up to go. So, without further ado, let's get started. First thing you want to do is get some power to the aircraft. Programming the FMS, FMC, what's the difference? Flight management system is a combination of this thing, which is an MCDU, this display, and a box somewhere in the plane called the flight management computer. All that together is the flight management system. But for the most part, all simmers refer to this as the flight management computer or the flight management system, whatever. Anyway, it takes about 10 to 15 minutes to get it programmed, so you want to make sure you have juice flowing to the aircraft, and you want to make sure you have your APU on, otherwise the batteries will run out on you. So let's go ahead and set the brakes. Let's go ahead and turn on some juice. Here's my overhead. Let's go ahead and get power going. And next we need to get the APU going. Fuel is on. Start the APU. Turn off the master caution. Okay, the APU is up and running. Then we need to give some juice to the avionics, which I think is, oops, I had those wrong. Okay. Alright, so now we need to start programming this guy. First thing you need to notice is this is saying heading fail, heading fail, heading fail. The reason why it's doing this is because the plane doesn't know where it is. In order for all of this to work properly, the plane needs to know its current location, and to do that you need to tell the plane where it is. Before we get started with that, let me explain the brief flow of programming the flight management system. It's a 5-step process. The first is position initialization. Then you have to load the flight plan. Then you have to activate the flight plan. Then you have performance initialization, and then setting up your departure. That's the basic bare minimum for programming your flight management system. The truth of the fact is the flight management computer is pretty complicated, and in the real world it takes real world pilots anywhere from 2 to 3 months to get trained on this thing. But what I'm going to go over is the bare minimum to program this thing so you can go ahead and do a flight. Before you get started, you need to make sure you have the following pieces of information to do your flight plan. You need to have the actual flight plan itself, which you get from SimBrief. You need to know the number of passengers, how much pounds of cargo, how much pounds of fuel you're carrying, your flight level assignment, how high up you're going to be flying. You also need a complete ATIS briefing, which will include wind speed, wind direction, precipitation, cloud cover, and most importantly, runway assignment. What runway you're going to be taking off from. You're going to need all of that information before you start programming your flight management computer. So the first thing you need to do is bring up the interface. Now in this case, I have an EasyDock camera matched to the flight. Damn it. Let's go ahead and do this instead. There, that's better. My glow is going to drive me crazy. Alright, so let's go ahead and bring it up. Now remember that I said the computer doesn't know where it is. No present position. So you got to tell the computer what your current location is so that the inertial navigation system gyroscopes can start aligning. What the hell does all that mean? Don't worry about it. Alright, so the first thing you're going to do is go to, let's see now, you go to nav, then you go to the second page, next. Position initialization, position init. You're going to tell the computer where you are. Now, these GPS coordinates, as you can see, they're all pretty much the same place. So you want the second one, KCMH. That's where the plane is, Columbus. These things are not aligned properly. That's the first one for there, second one for there. This is the one that you want. You hit that, and then go to flight plan. Okay? No preset position. You can go ahead and clear that. Alright, so let's go ahead and go back here. At this point, the gyroscopes for the inertial navigation system are aligning, and after a while these messages are going to go away. Once you've initialized the FMS, that process gets going and this goes away. How long it takes for this to go away, you can customize in the ERJ or the EJet setup configurator that comes with this add-on. In the real world, it takes about 5 to 7 minutes for the gyroscopes to align. Alright, so let's go back to here. So you've set up where the plane is. Next you need to enter your destination, and in this example we're going from Columbus to Atlanta. So you enter, this glare is going to drive me crazy. So you enter KATL, and you enter that in the destination. Okay, now you got to enter your waypoints. At this point you enter your waypoints. I have another video that talks about waypoints and building flight plans. If you're not sure how to get your waypoints or how to get your flight plan, take a moment to watch that video. But for here, you got to enter your waypoints. Alright, so let's go ahead and enter our route into the flight plan. I'm only going to enter waypoints, SIDS and stars. That's an entirely different story. It's kind of complicated, so we'll leave that for another time. Alright, so my first waypoint is Ohio S. Ohio S. And then my next waypoint is OH. OLO. That other video goes over these really quirky waypoint names, how they came about and how you use them. So like I said, if it's all confusing to you, watch that other video. KTRYN. Okay, when you see that, that's not a valid waypoint, so you can go ahead and enter a latitude or longitude. I'm reading this from a waypoint from my flight plan. You know what? I'm not going to deal with this at this point. Let's go previous. Let's go back to the flight plan. I'm just going to go ahead and skip over that and go to my next waypoint, which is SOT. Whenever this happens, you need to know the one that is closest to you, and I know that my location in the world where I am, where I'm going to be flying, my geographic coordinate starts with an N, north and a west, so I know it's the first one, so I'll go ahead and do that. I'll also show you how you can validate your flight plan afterwards. Next waypoint is ODF. Next waypoint is Falcon. FLCON. Next waypoint is Dirty. You know, it's funny, the names of these waypoints. Who says the people at the FAA don't have a sense of humor? Mel Blanc, who does all the voices for all the Looney Tunes car students, he's from a certain area. I don't recall where in the United States, but if you look at the waypoints on the instrument approach charts at an airport nearby where Mel Blanc grew up, they named various of the waypoints, and I'm not kidding. One of them is called I Taught. Another waypoint is phonetically pronounced I Saw. And another one, another waypoint is Puddy, P-U-D-D-Y. And the last waypoint is TAT, T-H-A-T. I taught, Puddy Tat. I'm not kidding. And obviously most people who doesn't know who Mel Blanc is wouldn't get it, but they did that to pay to honor Mel Blanc and his incredible talent. Alright, so after you enter all the waypoints, these are all your waypoints, you need to close a flight plan, and you close a flight plan by entering the destination airport. Now you can enter KATL here, or you can also just do this. Comes up here, enter that there, and the flight plan is now closed, ready to be activated. So you hit activate. Now, before you go any further, you want to make sure that your flight plan is valid, and this is how you do that. Now, as you can see, your INS has been aligned, and your gyroscope is in good shape, so everything came up right here. So how to make sure that your flight plan is valid? What you want to do is put yourself right here, and you can do this with most planes. You can do this with all the ERJ jets. You can't do this with the Cessna Citation. I'm not sure if you can do this with the Boeing or the Airbus aircraft. But what you do is you put yourself right here, you click on map. No, that's not what you click on. You click on, close that. You click on this thingy right here, and you make it at about, you zoom to about 25 miles, okay? And then you come down to this knob, okay? And then you slowly use your mouse wheel, and it clicks you along the path of your waypoints. And that's how you can make sure to confirm your waypoint's valid. Now let's say you mistyped a waypoint, or you chose the incorrect waypoint if there were several of the same name missing, and one waypoint was over, let's say, Israel. One of your lines would be all the way over here, off the map, and then it'd come back on the map, and that's how you know everything's, whether it's kosher or not. So let's go ahead and zoom out even further. Let's go ahead and make it 150 miles. And see, you can zoom along the waypoints in your flight plan, and this shows everything is fine. Okay? Alright, so we've initialized the position, we have entered the flight plan. Next we need to do, and we activated the flight plan. Next we need to do the performance initialization. So let's go back over here, and when you performance initialization, what that does is you're initializing all the primary parameters for the aircraft, so the computer can start making calculations. So what you do is you can click on performance init here, or you can go performance init here. Either way it takes you to the same thing. Things are in blue. You can or can't change. I honestly don't remember. Point is, this page is fine. Next, here you can enter your fuel reserves in pounds, or you can enter amount of time. So let's go ahead and enter, just click on or, and let's say you want 30 minutes fuel reserve. Next page, it says your initial cruise altitude. You can leave that optimum, but what you always should do is enter what your flight plan gave you. And for this case, my flight plan, I'm cruising at 32,000 feet. So I hit flight level 320. Alright. Now, the fuel, and here's where it gets tricky. You need to enter the fuel that SimBrief computed for you. Remember, SimBrief is going to compute the amount of pounds of fuel you're going to need based on the burn rate to go from, in this case, Columbus to Atlanta. It's also going to include fuel for taxi, 20 minutes of taxi at your departure airport, 8 minutes of taxi at your destination airport. It will also include fuel, contingency fuel to go to a backup airport, and it will also compute reserve fuel in case of emergencies. I think it's like a 45-minute reserve. So you want to use the fuel that is that the flight plan gave you, and I forgot to set that up first. So what you do here at this point is you go to aircraft, fuel and payload, change fuel, and in this case it's supposed to be 12,000 pounds. Should be, let's go ahead and make it 7,000 pounds in each tank. 14,000 pounds should be just fine. 7,000. Alright, so we have 14,000 pounds of fuel. I keep forgetting to set up my fuel at the beginning of the flight. It drives me absolutely crazy. Let's see here. What am I doing here? I am doing Columbus to Atlanta. Anyhow, fuel 14,000. So already have the gauge. Yeah, it's right there. Zero fuel weight. On your flight plan that you get from SimBrief, it will have the zero fuel weight on there. And in this case, the zero fuel weight maximum, that's the zero fuel weight, is going to be 93,917. By the way, if you plan to use a FADEC, that is the computer control thrust, you have to get these numbers right, otherwise things could end up badly. Now you can go ahead and activate this. Double check your performance initialization. Okay. Now you need to set up your departure. In the case of departure, in this case, all you need is the runway you're going to take off from. What you do is you get your ATIS briefing, flight sim, go ahead and select the runway, and then you hit insert. Then you hit activate. Whenever you change your flight plan, what you need to do is you need to re-verify. You need to re-verify your plan to make sure you didn't screw anything up. See? Everything here is still good. Okay? And for the most part, that's how you set up your flight plan. And you're pretty much good to go. This is just the basics. This covers your lateral navigation, which is from one waypoint to another waypoint. You can also program the flight management computer to manage your vertical profile. That is how fast it's going, what altitude it's at when you're at a specific waypoint. That's your vertical profile. In this case, it has speeds here. Let's take a look at my flight plan. When I get to my first waypoint, I need to be at 26,000 feet. My second waypoint, I'm at 32,000 feet. 32,000 feet, 32,000 feet, here are the various speeds. If I wanted to, I can change the speeds I'm at each waypoint, and I can also change what altitude I'm at each waypoint. There is a whole lot more to programming the flight management computer. Oh, there is one more thing we forgot to do. Let's go ahead and do the takeoff. What you do is you go to performance, and you go to takeoff, and you need to know the wind speed and direction. So let's say you got winds coming from the west at 10 knots. Okay. And here you need to compute your V-speeds. Depending on the add-on that you have, a lot of them just go ahead and compute the V-speed for you. In the real world, it doesn't work that way. What you need to do is, the documentation that comes with the add-on has performance tables, and the performance tables will tell you what your V-speeds are. Now, as you may recall, your V-speeds, that's speeds that call out V1, V2, rotate, and whatnot. To get your V-speed, and I haven't done this in a while, what you need to do is you need to make a note of your density altitude, 1010, and you also need to know what the plane's fuel weight is. And to do that, you can go to performance, you've already initialized, and then you go to the manual that came with the plane. In this case, it's on page, let's see here now, we want Embraer 195 takeoff V-speeds at 2 notches of flaps. Let's see here, flaps 1. We're going to be taking off with flaps 2, so that's on page 88. Our weight is going to be, their total weight is your gross weight right here. I'm sorry, I wrote down the zero fuel weight. What you want is a gross rate, which is 10,000 or whatever this figure is. So you're going to go ahead and write that down, 107890, and then you look in the table on page 88. The weight is 107, so that's down here, and then we want flaps 2, and the static temperature is what's the temperature? We are minus 40 to 33. So our V speeds are 142, 144, and 147. So let's come back over here. Take off. Next. 142. 144. 147, and your V safe maneuverability is 205. Okay, and that's it. That's how you program the flight management computer for a basic flight from one location to another. This is not everything. Obviously, when you're coming into land, you need to enter your wind, elevation, what runway you're going to come in at. You can also enter your arrival, what runway you're coming in, your approach, SID stars. But that's a different story. That's another episode altogether. But this is your basic setup for programming your flight plan. This is the plan right here. And as I said before, you can confirm the plan by zooming out, setting this map up. Oh, by the way, for this one here, for this particular plane, you want to go ahead and set navigate, airports, waypoint identifiers, progress, and your vertical profile, and weather. And you can go ahead and scroll through. In this case, you want to go ahead and zoom it a little bit. The general rule of thumb is to make it 12.5 right there. See, you're at CMH. These are your waypoints, and it takes you right into KATL. And that's it. Oh, how could I forget? I forgot the most important things. Let's say you need to change your flight plan. If you need to delete a waypoint, let's say we're going to delete wrong flight plan here. let's say you need to delete a waypoint. Let's say you need to delete Bewley. All you need to do is click delete and delete Bewley. And if you need to, and whenever you do that, it's going to say, hey, you got to activate it. So you activate it. And let's say you need to reinsert a waypoint. You might be flying along and ATC says, hey, some things are going on, we need to divert you to a different waypoint. They give you a say, go ahead and fly to a certain waypoint. What you need to do is you go ahead and enter the waypoint that they tell you. In this case, we're just going to enter the waypoint we just deleted, B-U-L-E-Y, and you insert it where you want it to go. In this case, it's going to be here. So it pushes SOT down and sticks the stuff in the middle. And here you got to reactivate it again. That's how you can delete waypoint, insert waypoints. So, and I think that's enough to make it dangerous with regards to any particular flight management computers. Let's go put this back. And that's it. Quick lesson on how to program the flight management computer. Flight Sim Guy here. Thank you very much for watching. I will see you next time.